Well, the live-action Lion King remake is a complete success, in the sense that it killed it at the box office. However, we're looking at a 52% on Rotten Tomatoes. Let's just say that the critical consensus wasn't overwhelmingly positive. But why? What went wrong? With a cast like that, with Jon Favreau at the helm, and with all of those stunning visuals, one would think we're looking at Oscar gold. Well, since the premiere, I've had time to hear people out and piece together why it didn't resonate with critics and fans the way we thought it would. Outlined in 3 main points. But first, do me a solid and hit subscribe so I can hold a job. Before we jump in here, I do want to point out that I did like the movie. They did a lot of stuff right. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5, but it did leave me feeling unsatisfied and I was struggling to articulate why. After discussing with folks, it seems the issues are as follows. 1. Too real, bro. Look, the photorealistic visuals were amazing and executed perfectly. They nailed it. I'm not trying to take that away from them. But after a while, it does start to feel a bit odd. Like somebody is dubbing over a National Geographic documentary. Yes, it looks entirely real, but part of the charm of the animated version is the humanistic expressions in the characters' faces. So when you see this, you know how the character is feeling. When you see this, it just looks like a Nat Geo freaking lion video. And to nail that look, that's just how it had to be, but I do think it made it difficult for fans to become invested in the characters. For example, here's sad Simba. Here's happy Simba. Here's concerned Simba. You see my point? Here's cats that look too much like cats, and here's cats that look too much like humans. We'll find a balance one day. Also, when it looks this real, you start overthinking plot stuff, like it all has to be grounded in reality. They eat the antelope, but the antelope were at your monkey baptism or whatever it is. That's creepy. I thought they'd justify it with like a ritualistic antelope sacrifice or something, and I wasn't emotionally ready for that. Point number 2, not my scene. The film is basically a shot-for-shot remake of the original, which is great because there's so much nostalgia to capture with a film this legendary and we want people to have that experience. But here's the issue. People will walk in expecting to see their favorite scene, and when it's one of the few parts that have been changed, it's very disappointing. I have one friend that loved the Be Prepared song from the original. Be prepared! And it just so happens to be one of the few parts of the new film that's vastly different. You could understand why said individual would not be crazy about the new movie. Another friend that I saw the movie with loves this scene. The song reminds him of childhood, he couldn't wait to experience the nostalgia, and they replaced it with Beyoncé's new track. Now I know this is inevitable when you have a product so close to the original, some things are gonna change. But it does explain why, for some, the film didn't live up to their expectations. And finally, point number 3, what's perhaps the biggest reason that The Lion King just didn't work. Wait, what just happened? I loved every second of the movie up until they finished singing Hakuna Matata. After that, everything felt completely rushed. I could have sworn that in the original they took their time for Simba and Nala to fall in love, right? His process of deciding to return to Pride Rock was drawn out and explained. This film is longer than the original, but somehow it feels shorter. Not in a good way, like they skipped over some stuff. It feels like Nala finds him, they get down, and then he runs back to his friends and he's like, hey, I'm gonna be king now. The process of him making that determination, what his friends went through, how he fell in love, it felt like we were just supposed to assume those parts. As if the filmmakers were thinking, you know the story, you get what happens. We're not gonna over-explain it. Not to sound dramatic because they are fictitious lions, but fans want to see that emotional journey and understand what led Simba to go back home, what led Nala to forgive him for leaving, what led his friends to be there for him no matter what. That just wasn't there for me. And that's it, man. Again, I want to reiterate that I did like the film, but from what I can see, these are the reasons that people left the theater unsatisfied. Do you agree? Is there something I'm not considering? Let us know in the comments. And while you're down there, hit subscribe so you can hear more hot takes and stuff from CinemaBlend. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.